Greetings, people of the internet. Lachlan here, back with another video. Today I'm going to talk about some rather serious issues. At the outset of this video, I want to be clear that although the things I talk about here may be common among the disabled, I do not claim to speak for anyone other than myself, because although we share common ground, people with disabilities are individuals, and even people with the exact same diagnosis will experience situations differently. Throughout the course of my life, many people have assumed that depression with a disability arises from the fact that I cannot walk. But being unable to walk is normal for me because I was born with this disability. So what actually causes sadness and struggle are more complicated than that. Living with a disability means you deal with 1,000 daily frustrations. Because in my case, I have to ask for help with minor tasks that the average person would take for granted. It also means that because of the level of help I need, I can't ever be completely alone. So I don't experience full privacy like a normal person would. Another reason why I feel isolated a lot is that unlike most people my age, and for the sake of relevance, I'm 27 now, I cannot get up on a moment's notice and decide that I'm going to take a road trip with friends, or go and hang out at the local bar and have fun. Obviously, I can travel, and I can go out for drinks, but doing these things requires a lot more effort and planning than they would for a normal person. And when I talk about effort, it's not just effort on my part. In order to get these things done, people have to sacrifice time and effort to make them happen for me. For example, if I want to go out with friends, the place we're going has to be accessible, or at the very least, a friend has to be physically capable of helping me enter, because obviously, if I can't get into a place, I'm not going to go to it. And given the nature of South Africa, and the fact that a lot of our buildings are old, many of them simply aren't accessible. And because I don't believe that having a disability entitles me to any special treatment, I do my best not to force people to change their plans just so that I can be involved. This causes me to feel isolated very often. And so a lot of my social life is online, which, I'm going to be honest, leads to a lot of jealousy and resentment when I see my friends out in cool places having fun. It's also difficult in life because I often feel inadequate as a person. A lot of friends of mine are now getting married and starting to consider having kids. I don't know if I ever want to have kids because I don't feel like I would be able to provide the experience of a father as I believe children deserve. I also know that were I to have children, the woman I had a child with would have to deal with a lot more of the day-to-day responsibility than I would deem fair, because the truth is I would be physically incapable of performing a lot of the tasks required in childcare. Another thing I wanted to discuss today is the subject of ableism. Ableism is a word I despise because, as with so much of the politically correct jargon flung around today, it implies a degree of malevolence on the part of society at large, which I do not believe exists. Particularly in the South African context, there's a vast lack of infrastructure to enable the disabled to lead public lives. Now, people might call that ableist. I don't see it that way. South Africa is a country with many problems. We have terrible leaders, and as a result of that, we have an unemployment rate around 30%. Now, when you have a country dealing with that level of poverty and suffering, wheelchair accessibility becomes quite the first world problem. Would I like to lead a more public life? Yes. But I understand that there are multiple reasons making it not possible in this country. And on a person-to-person level, I do not believe ableism exists. Have I been called a retard throughout my life? Sure I have. But the fact is, there are always going to be assholes within any given society. By and large, what I've found is that most people only want to help when they meet me. And the only real barrier to that is ignorance. And honestly, when dealing with the subject of disability, you can't blame people for being ignorant. Because generally speaking, it's not something that they come into contact with on a daily basis. So how can you blame people for not understanding what they don't have a real world conception of, what they've never dealt with? As I said, I believe that most people genuinely want to help if given the chance. So, I hope this video has been helpful to you in some way, and if you liked it, feel free to share it around. Have a great day.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight.